Hello and welcome to our next session of Lead, Learn and Grow. I'm Helen Clayton, PM+M's Managing Partner, and with me right now is Richard Slater.
Hi Helen.
Hello, how are you?
I'm absolutely fine, thank you very much.
Fantastic. So my first question is, how does it feel for you to talk to a Yorkshire lass?
Oh, it feels good talking to a Yorkshire lass. That bit's the good bit, is answering questions, because I'm so used to asking them.
I know.
And it is a very different thing. But I am looking forward to our next, is it 2 hours?
Not quite.
Okay.
Just short.
Just short of.
Yeah, just short of. It'll be fine.
Yeah, being interviewed by a Yorkshire lass is a good thing. We need to encourage our outward facingness sometimes.
Very good. I'll let you off then. So you host a lot. You host panels, you host interviews, you get involved in everything and anything. What floats your boat the most?
Talking to interesting people, without any shadow of doubt. It's always been the same. My job brings me into contact with the people I consider, they're my rock stars. Mm-hmm. And I get to find out interesting things about them. They tell me things that perhaps they shouldn't sometimes. That's exciting. So I learn some secrets, which is difficult for somebody with a journalism background, yet keeping them sometimes, but they are worth keeping. I think it's that, just the human stories behind the businesses. And I think you'll probably see that in the pages of our magazine. Yes, we talk about business deals and this, that, and this has happened and that has happened and this is what people think. But fundamentally, what we're trying to get to is a human story behind it. And the interview we did with you is a very good example of that, I think, quite recently. We get the business story, but we also get the person behind it. And I think the nature of our local business environment is of that nature. We're not a city, we are a county. And I think that it's sharing those stories so that other people, if I'm inspired by them, and I often am, if we can share them, other people will be inspired as well. And I think, what floats my boat is interesting people.
Interesting people. So what's the most interesting person you've met?
There are a lot, but we'd have to go back in time. I've met some very, very famous people that I've in previous worlds. My job was to write about film and entertainment and sports. So I've met lots of sports stars and movie stars. Sean Connery, I suppose, is possibly the biggest, but there's a bunch of others. But I think I still come back to my more recent times, with Business View. That's 20 years we've been doing Business View. I'd hesitate to pick on a certain person or a certain interview.
Unfair question.
It's a more general sense of learning how to get people to talk.
Yeah.
What encourages people to let go a little bit, and rather like we've done today, ladies and gentlemen, we've been talking for 10-15 minutes just to get warmed up for this, and that's part of. I've forgotten what the question was really, but that's part of the process. So without picking standouts, I think that it's the general idea of learning more stuff and then being able to share that learning.
And do you think that's where the growth of LBVs come from, is just focusing on that through and through, so that you're constantly sharing and constantly engaging? And
constantly meeting new people to tell the stories, and re-engaging with different age groups, and re-engaging with different types of people and different types of business. There's so much for us to go at. And then, you can throw in the fun elements. The politics of Lancashire is difficult and lumpy and awkward. At the same time, it gives us lots to talk about, lots to think about. And while many people don't directly engage, I think, with those conversations, we can be, I think, a conduit to it. We can explain and simplify where necessary. And then people can draw their own conclusions. Yeah.
So if you think where LBV is now, and if you backtrack not 20 years, but say 30 years, what came about to create LBV and its purpose and its why?
It came about as a conversation between myself and a fellow called Roger Gibson at East Lancashire Chamber of Commerce, who retired many years ago. And it was when I was working with an advertising agency, and he approached us, an advertising marketing agency, and he asked us if we'd like to do a chamber magazine. My boss at the time wasn't so sure, so anyway, we let it pass.
Yeah.
Roll forward 2 or 3 years, and I was running a very small marketing agency of my own, PR agency.
Yeah.
The approach came again, would you be interested in delivering a chamber magazine? And I looked at it and I thought, yeah, but I'm not sure it's going to be well read, because that's the problem with in-house products. They're difficult to get read because of they've come from you. They lack a little bit of independence. So we drilled it back to the objectives. What is it you want to achieve by having a house magazine? Well, we want to talk about Lancashire Business, East Lancashire Business at the time, Lancashire Business. We want to talk about their growth, their challenges, their opportunities, their aspirations, their ambitions. And I said, well, I can do all that independently. If you let me go independent, I think it'll work. And that's what we came to. They gave us a little bit of money for 2 years, and they allowed me to build a product that was independent but gave good reference to the chamber.
Yeah.
And for 2 years, that was quite a tidy arrangement. That then ended, and we were off on our own. But we've never forgotten what the chamber supported us with, and we stay close. And why wouldn't we? They've got members that we want to talk to. So that was the kind of the process. And it was 20 years ago this month that we got the first dummy produced.
Right.
I should have brought it actually. I've still got it on my shelf at home.
Yeah.
Got the first dummy produced, and then it was around about now I started to think about who can help me deliver this project.
Yeah.
And then literally, if I knew now what I knew then, I'd have never done it. I just went, let's go. And we gave it a shot. We gave it a shot, created an independent business magazine, which for its first year was focused on East Lancashire.
Yeah.
Then we spread it across the county after that. But that was a gestation.
Yeah. So what do you think you've learned through those 20 years?
Patience. A lot more patience.
Can you lend me some?
I'll sell you some. I've learned that I think I knew these things anyway. It's always been a team game. Lancashire Business View has always been a team game. It's vision has always been a shared vision. Yeah. Direction has been shared. Short-term ideas have been shared. These have been things we've worked together as a team. And I try to bring all of the team into those things. I perhaps have overdone that. We perhaps have too many voices sometimes in a conversation. But I'd rather have too many than too few.
Yeah.
And I'd rather have more ideas than we can deal with than not enough. Yeah. And I'd rather bank some ideas for the future. They don't die, ideas. They just get paused. So I think that's broad. I hope that goes somewhere to answering the question.
Yeah.
I think that.
And in terms of you as an individual, how have you grown through that period? And what, I guess, have you had any mentors or role models that you've kind of took things from along that journey?
Yeah, I mean, I made it my business to utilize those interesting people that I met. And I would say that over the course of the last 15 or 20 years, I've probably had 5 or 6 mentors, and I think one of them knows that they were my mentor.
Yes, that's quite common, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think that if anybody's thinking about business or you're starting out, or even if you're deep into it, you don't have to do it on your own. And I think that's my big one. I've never really wanted to do it on my own. I've wanted a team around me, but I think you don't need to do it on your own. I'd never narrow an idea pool. Always expand an idea pool. Yeah. As I say, you can shelve an idea for a future date.
Yeah. It's more fun to have the team, isn't it? That's what I find personally anyway. You get diverse ideas, get diverse opinions, and being able to listen to them helps you grow as an individual.
And I think you can encourage that as well. So you've got to help those who are less used to giving a voice.
Yes.
To say you do have a voice and it's important and I want to know what it is. Because the perspective of a 23-year-old woman in my office is different to my perspective, which is different from Joanne's perspective. And we need a 23-year-old's perspective, and it has changed the way we think about certain things, and we allow just by example, we've allowed that person has really pushed us and pushed me to be more considerate towards our environmental responsibilities.
Okay.
Now, we've always been aware of this, but then you just don't see things. So there's almost no single-use plastic now in our business. As a simple example, we've stripped out unnecessary items. We ain't perfect, but we're on that journey now, a little bit better than we were where we were. And that, I mean, it's not particularly a business story, that, but it's just the way we do business, and that's been changed by listening to the people that we have and listening to them as human resources and contributors to an idea and contributors to a bigger piece.
Yeah, it's about the culture of your business, isn't it? It's not necessarily how you do business to the external world, but it's about the ecosystem within that helps generate people's confidence and ideas.
Well, also, there's something lovely about sharing responsibility for something that works and sharing responsibility for something doesn't. And, you know, that sort of typical leadership thing, you know, you take the hits when it's a hit and you share the glory when it's glory. Well, yeah, but let's share a bit more. We can share all of that. And we can learn together about errors or mistakes, or we can learn together about successes and wins.
Yeah.
But learning, we still need to learn. Whatever it is, we need to understand, how does that change things as we go? Oh, I've just thought, which puts me in mind of your earlier question, which is how have I changed? I've become much more processed. I was much looser. I'm still quite loose, and we're still quite open to changing ideas, but we have become a more processed business. And that's tightened us up, I think, to allow us to, when process is in place, that's like the song structure.
Yeah.
The fun stuff, the ad hoc stuff is like the guitar solo in the middle.
It's cool.
But you still need the song structure.
Yeah.
Otherwise it all falls apart.
So do you have a superpower?
Do I have a superpower? There's something I'm very good at.
Okay.
Which is swimming.
Okay, tell me more. Didn't know about this.
So, no, as they say in Burnley, big do's and little do's. I joined a swimming club. Realised I was really quite good at it, and progressed and progressed and progressed.
How old were you?
I would have been about 8 or 9, probably when I started the swimming club. My dad was brilliant. Dad was like brilliant taxi driver. And my mum as well, but it was mostly my dad. Yeah. So the swimming progressed and progressed and progressed, and I got really quite good. And that gave me an opportunity. My dad saw this opportunity. He saw a swimming squad at an event, and it was Millfield School, which then and now is one of the great sports institutions, public school. So my dad put my name forward, and because I was a good swimmer, I got this huge, almost full pay scholarship to go to Millfield School. And so there I was, 1978-9, living in a flat above a hairdresser's shop at Baswell in Blackburn. 1980, living in a room with 4 other young lads as part of this massive, incredible school environment, which I would never have had access to. Yeah. And that's where I learned, and in that whole school environment, that changed my life. You know, I got to meet people that I would never have possibly met. Princes and children of rock stars and television personalities and sports heroes and all that stuff. And that was my superpower, which was being very good at swimming. And the outcome of that, apart from some rather nice swimming trinkets, was the ability to see a whole new world that I wouldn't have had access to otherwise. And I think that was kind of cool. Yeah.
So is that then what led you into where you are now?
I don't know, actually. Okay. Because a lot of my school contemporaries, you know, they were from very wealthy backgrounds, and they were from very quirky backgrounds. If you look at some of my old friends and what they're doing now, you know, like running hotel groups across the Middle East, because that was the family business. It just opened my eyes to different ways of thinking. But I also wanted to come home after, you know, I did that. Then I did university, and then I fancied coming back a bit closer to home, and I landed, you know, within 15 miles of where we're sitting today, and I haven't moved away since. So I think it's possible that if I hadn't done that away, you know, gone away from the age of, I think, 13 and a half, 14, I haven't gone away for 5 years then to university, I may be elsewhere now. I don't know. There was just, I wanted to come back home. I wanted to be close to my mum and dad again.
Yeah, same. Same for me.
It's all right, isn't it?
Yeah. So you enjoy doing a panel, of which I have been privileged to be part of.
I love hosting a panel.
You do?
I love it.
If you could go back and invite 3 people from your school days, not necessarily naming them, but why would it be those 3 people?
Well, I will name certainly one. I'd invite Mike, who was my best friend, and he was my American friend, and he still is a very, very close friend, even though he lives on the other side of the Atlantic. I'd invite him just for comedy value, really, because and to tell some stories. He went on to be a film director.
Right.
That's just
Yeah.
interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
So tell us a few stories. There are. I wouldn't like to limit to 3. I'd like to bring in some other people. I'd like to see what happened next with some people. I didn't stay that close to very many people after school or university, frankly. I felt as though next stage, where am I going next? But I've still got friends from both of those eras. Yeah, it would be an interesting. I would definitely pick somebody from overseas. I'd definitely pick somebody whose background was completely different to mine.
Yeah.
And I'd probably pick somebody who perhaps didn't like me. I don't know. So just to see how it would go. That'd be quite fun.
Yeah, it would be fun and interesting.
Who would you pick?
Right.
Oh no, sorry, sorry, I'm not doing it.
Nope,
You're not going to let me take it over, are you?
I'm in charge.
Yes,
Come
you
on.
are. Sorry,
okay, a couple of quick fire questions just to finish. What's your worst habit?
Procrastination.
Oh,
Prevarication. Yeah, I'm trying to beat it out of myself, but I do sometimes ponder a little bit too long on decisions when I know what the outcome. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what it's going to be, and you faff around, and eventually go, I was right after all.
Yeah.
I just wish sometimes I was a bit bolder about getting to that end point quicker. That, I think, that's a bit painful sometimes. But I've got people around me we are pushing in the right direction there, because I'm aware of it. Therefore, we need to challenge it. Cool. And that actually do that with open forum at work. Just challenge everything. Yeah. Just challenge. It doesn't matter. Just challenge it. If you think we're doing something a bad way, and we will be, let's make it a better way.
Yeah. Yeah. Have the conversation.
Yeah.
It's coming back to the ideas point, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Last question. Favourite shape?
What's my favourite shape? I think a dodecahedron.
Ooh.
For the obvious reasons.
Go on, what are they?
Well, they're obvious. I don't know. I've just invented it. Triangle is always nice, and always a nice one, because you get the pointy. Yeah. But a circle's good as well, because you get the whole. I mean, there's just too many to choose from to pick a favourite, aren't there? Does that count as me sitting on the fence again?
Fence? There's no fence. And on that note, Mr. Slater, thank you very much.
Thank you. It's been my pleasure. This has been great fun. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, I'm now doing that looking longingly in your eyes thing till they say you can stop now.
Cut.